Hi, welcome to day 6 of Solitude. I hope everything's going well for you at this point, that you're feeling like these videos help you to move forward in terms of finding opportunities for growth during this time. I realize it can be really difficult to kind of stay on track with these things, but that's the whole point of having the videos is it gives you a reference point, something to come back to whenever you need in order to kind of get yourself back on track. So yesterday we talked about locus of control, being mindful and aware of whether we're happening to life or whether we're letting life happen to us. So if you wake up in the morning and you would rate yourself, let's say an 8 in terms of your mood, as you move through the day, do you allow the things that are going on around you to change and shift that? Or do you keep that as just this even, calm place that you're in? And that allows you to be less reactive to the things that go on around you. Today, we want to talk about language. So most of us understand how important language is, and the way that we choose to use language has a big impact on how we're perceived, how effective we are in terms of getting our needs met. And I just wanted to highlight some of the things that I've noticed a lot in my practice. And one of those is the use of absolute language, language that is really confining, limiting. And the examples of this that I primarily focus on with clients is words like always, never, I can't, and just, I know it sounds a little bit silly, but just even the word no, which we can be really good at. So why are words like always, never, and I can't not good words to use? And it's primarily because, well, first off, they're usually not true. So that's an issue in and of itself, is that when we say that somebody always does something or I always do something, I don't always do anything, really. And I'll point that out to people, like, do you always do something? So using just the accuracy piece of it as kind of a point of reference and checkpoint to say, is that even true? It probably isn't. So I used to encourage people really strongly to substitute different language. So always would become frequently, often, most of the time. Never would become hardly ever, rarely, not frequently. But I've really discovered over the years that it's better like kind of just leave out the word. Most sentences work really well without that word in them. So try that. And if you have somebody also sharing your space, this is a really great item to ask other people to help you with, because most of us don't know how much this language bleeds into our day-to-day conversations. So if you've got somebody sharing your space, ask them to just ask it back to you as a question, because it doesn't help if it's done in kind of a ha-ha accusatory manner. It needs to be more like thoughtful. So that would just be to ask it back as like, always? Never? Just giving you the opportunity to be like, oh, I just used that word. In my office, I use the gems that I referenced before, and I just have a bowl, and I ask the client to put one of the gems in the bowl whenever they say those words, and it just raises our awareness of it. It makes it more conscious. And a lot of people just don't realize how often they're using it. The other language challenge that I want to point out for today is just the use of dramatic language. So things like horrible, awful, terrible, things that are just really inflammatory, and that you can tell, even if I come to you and I say, gosh, I had a horrible day, it was just awful. How do you feel just even being present with that kind of language? Versus if I come to you and say, gosh, today was really difficult. Would you mind if we talked it over? Because I kind of need to process some of it. Very different feeling on the receiving end. And I can tell you, even having just said the words, on the giving end. We have a tendency in our society to be pretty dramatic in our language, and I don't think it serves us well. I think it increases our levels of anxiety. I think it increases our reactivity, because when things are horrible or awful, we feel the need to react. So I just want to encourage you today to really soften your language, to look for words like curious, interesting, and I love the phrase, help me understand. I feel like it allows us to be present with other people's choices, decisions, ways of doing things in a way that shows, I want to be with you in that, not resist you, not disagree with you. I just want to understand kind of your decision-making process there. So I just encourage you today to keep those things in mind. Use this day as an opportunity to continue to work on yourself and grow, And today, let's pay attention to language. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day.